Hello students, in this session I will be covering Annamalai University's MBA first year subject International Business. In this session I will be covering lessons 5 to 8. Let's go to lesson 5. International Trade Organizations, International Monetary Fund and International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, IBRD. Okay, what is meant by IMF? Okay, International Monetary Fund is an organization set up by various countries worldwide to fund. The objective is to fund a working mechanism for smooth settlement of international payments in order to achieve the objectives. Okay, so International Monetary Fund envisages the objective of smooth payment of international payments. International payments in the sense international payments between countries which have done the trade, international trade between countries, one to another country. Okay, so the payment has to be made from the importing country to the exporting country. So let's see the objectives. The objectives of the fund are stated in Article 1 of the fund agreements as follows: to promote international monetary cooperation through a permanent institution which provides machinery for consultation and collaboration on international monetary problems. International monetary, there are problems associated with the value of the currency of one country with the value of the currency of another country. So there can be some monetary issues. So and the payment has to be smooth between those countries. So in order to coordinate and monitor all those things, settlement of all those things, IMF have been one of the objective of IMF is this. Second, to facilitate the expansion of balanced growth of international trade. So every country in the world, those who are part of IMF should have a balanced growth. So there should be export as well as import from each and every country as far as possible. Otherwise balanced growth is not possible. Okay. To promote exchange stability. Exchange is nothing but exchange of export goods and import goods. And also the exchange between the currency, the value of the currency between one country and the value of currency with the other country. Example, dollars, Indian rupees, pound, etc. like that. To assist in the establishment of a multilateral system. Multilateral system means one country to many countries. So many countries to one country, like that. So multilateral, not unilateral, between one country to another. Be multilateral system of export, international trade. To lend confidence to members by making funds resources available to them. So give loan advances from the fund so that export and import takes place between countries. So when export and import takes place, there will be fund requirements from by the importing country for paying back the imported goods. In accordance with the above, to shorten the duration and lessen the degree of disequilibrium in the international balance of payment. So there can be disequilibrium in the balance of payments. Balance of payments is nothing but the payment to be done by the importing country with respect to the imported goods. Functions. There are functions of IMF. You can expect a question regarding objectives of IMF as well as functions of IMF. The fund functions as a short-term credit institution. For short-term, 6 months to 1 year, the fund will give, or 1 month to 6 months, the fund IMF will give short-term credit to the required countries or the members of the IMF. It provides a machinery for the orderly adjustment of exchange rate. Exchange rates are available. Hope you know about exchange rate. What do you mean by exchange rate? It's the exchange rate between, that means rate of exchange between the value of one currency in a country with the value of currency of another country. It is a reservoir of the currencies of all member countries. IMF has currencies available, the fund available in any country's currencies. Okay, Indian rupees, dollars, pounds, euros, any other currency, IMF has currencies. I mean value money available, or money available. It is a sort of lending institution. It's a lending institutions like banks. It gives loans and advances to the countries. Okay, various countries, member countries of IMF. It also provides a machinery for altering sometimes the par value of the currency of a member country. So it also works as a institution to alter the value of a currency or the exchange value of the currency of a particular country or a member country. It also provides a machinery for international consultations. So if there is any dispute, countries can consult IMF for a solution with respect to international trade. And there is organization and trade. Each and every country, the member country, you need to very careful about the term member country, because there are not all countries in the world are members of IMF, but almost all countries in the world are members of the IMF, International Monetary Fund. But there are countries, example Somalia, if I believe, it's not a member country because it's not recognized as a country. And there could be other countries also which are not who are not members to IMF. And there will be quotas, restricted quota, that means loans and advances are restricted to member countries based on their membership terms or contribution terms. Every country has to contribute in their currency or any other currency to IMF, so that they will be big members, as well as they can take loans and advances from IMF. Depends on the contribution amount. A certain percentage of the contribution amount can only be taken as loans and advances. That's called as quotas. There are operations also, IMF, how they operate on their contribution money received from various countries or member countries of IMF. Okay, so the capital resources of IMF comes from the contribution of various member countries. Okay, these are the things covered in lesson 5. Now to lesson 6, International Trade Organization, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, GATT, and WTO. GATT, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, was an old thing. Nowadays GATT is not available. GATT has been replaced with other systems. Okay, but still, as far as theory is concerned, syllabus is concerned, it's still available. Okay, and what do you mean by GATT? GATT means there are general agreed terms and conditions, tariffs and conditions made available by the International Trade Organization. International Trade Organization is part of IMF, United Nations. They control or they formulate policies or agreement measures between countries who are available in the international trade. So they resolve issues through consultation between countries, which they have some settlement issues, balance of payment issues, etc. If there is international trade issues between one country and other countries. Okay, Everything GATT and other treatment or other areas or quota system is made available as part of the Uruguay Round Treaty. Uruguay Round Treaty is nothing but a meeting of International Trade Organization held in Uruguay, and they have taken a numerous amount of decisions regarding international trade relations, which are binding on the international countries or member countries. Okay, now to WTO, World Trade Organization. World Trade Organizations control, it's an organization under United Nations, control the world trade between countries. So they have a numerous authority to control the international trade. Objectives and functions of the WTO: to ensure the reduction of tariffs. Tariffs are nothing but import levies given by importing country on the exported goods from other countries. Okay, and other barriers. Countries can put barriers for importing goods from an exporting country. So to resolve such issues, WTO is in place. Functions of the WTO: to lay down a substantive code of conduct. Actually, the code of conduct is on the international trade regulations between countries. Okay, they also meant to decrease trade barriers which are available from time to time. So WTO will work on and try to resolve by talking to country heads in resolving such trade barriers, if any available. Okay. These are the things covered in lesson 6 of unit 2. Now quickly to lesson 7, International Trade Organization, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD. It's another organization under the auspices of United Nations, which controls or regulate conferences or does conferences between on a time to time basis and see how international trade is happening, if there are any barriers to them, and how it can be developed. World trade can be developed between new countries who are in the fray. Okay, there are certain countries, certain conferences or committees: the Committee on Commodities, the Committee on Manufacturers, the Committee on Shipping, the Committee on Invisible Items and Financing. What do you mean by invisible items? Those items which are exported, which cannot be seen, software, copyrighted material, etc., are invisible items. Okay, and financing, insurance, etc., which are related to trade. Okay, other than commodities, exported commodities, there are visible commodities, there are invisible items also which are traded or exported from one country to another. One such example is software, insurance policies, financing, loans and advances, etc. Okay, and there are various activities, various areas in place where UNCTAD is working on from time to time. These are the things basically covered in lesson 7. You can get a short answer or objectives like questions like objective of UNCTAD, the role of UNCTAD in developing less developed countries, etc. Okay, or you may ask to write short answers on UNCTAD, possible. Now to lesson 8, rate of exchange and foreign exchange control. What do you mean by rate of exchange? The exchange is nothing but, rate of exchange is nothing but the value of one currency when compared with the value of another currency. Okay, how many times one currency is valued in terms of another currency. Foreign exchange is a collective term that embraces all kinds of negotiable claims expressed in foreign money as seen by the domestic buyer or seller. Okay. Meaning the transactions in the exchange market are carried out at what are termed as exchange rates. It is a price of foreign money compared to the money of domestic money. Thus, exchange rate may be defined as the price paid in the home currency for a unit of foreign currency. How much domestic currency is to be paid in terms of the foreign, a single unit of foreign currency. Example, how much Indian rupees to be paid for getting 1 US dollars. That means maybe today 75 rupees has to be paid for getting $1. So $1 is equal to rupees 75. So that is called as, that terms is known as exchange rate. There are 3 types of exchange rate. One is fixed, flexible and floating. Okay, fixed rate is nothing but doesn't change, inconvertible, because it does not change. So if I said $1 US dollar is equal to 75 rupees, it will not change. That's called fixed rate. Most of the cases fixed rates are not available as of now. Earlier it was there, but it's changed as, is also known as pegged exchange rates. Okay, under fixed or pegged exchange rate, all exchange transactions takes place at an exchange rate that is determined by the monetary authorities. The authorities may fix the exchange rate by legislation or intervention in currency market rate. This is not possible at all the times, but there can be fluctuations or changes in the currency of the foreign country currency. Okay. Now, flexible exchange rates. Flexible or floating exchange rates are determined by market forces. What is happening in the market or international trade market determines the flexible or floating exchange rates. And that means day to day the exchange rates or the value of one currency, the price of value of one currency, domestic currency, with the value of another foreign country currency changes. The monetary authorities do not intervene for the purpose of influencing the exchange rates. Under a regime of freely fluctuating exchange rates, if there is an excess supply of a currency, the value of that currency in foreign exchange markets will fall. If there is an excess flow of a currency of a country, it will lead to depreciation or decrease of the exchange rate. And there are merits and demerits of flexible exchange rates as well as fixed. Floating exchange rates. This system of floating exchange rates is not one of freely flexible exchange rates, but of managed floating. So time to time the authorities has to monitor it and make adjustments or manage the adjustments. It has rarely operated without government intervention, especially governments decide on the floating exchange rates, whereas flexible exchange rates is determined by the market forces. Okay, so there is a need for exchange control also. Exchange control implies governmental intervention in the matter of foreign exchange and the exchange rates. According to Haberler, exchange control is state regulation excluding the free play of economic forces from the foreign exchange market. Okay. The main objectives of foreign exchange control may be stated as follows. Conservation of foreign exchange. A country cannot decrease the exchange or foreign currency available with that country. Exchange control may be introduced by the monetary authority to converse the gold, not converts, it's conserve the gold, bullion, foreign exchange currency, etc. Okay, or the foreign resources of available with a country. So they have to conserve, okay, reduce the usage of foreign exchange resources. Check on flight of capital. Under free exchange system, there is the danger of huge outflow of capital, which may weaken the country economy. That is, capital is nothing but foreign exchange goes out of that country. It should be avoided by any country. Correct disequilibrium in balance of payments. That means if the import is huge and the export is less, the country has to shell out foreign exchange resources available. So this causes disequilibrium in balance of payments. If the imported payment or the payment to be made on imported goods have not been done, the disequilibrium situation happens. The disequilibrium situation in balance of payments happens. Stabilization of exchange rates. So this causes stabilization of exchange rates between the currency of one country with the currency of foreign country. Okay. Protecting the interest of home producers. In some cases, the countries has to put barriers for imports. So in order to put barriers on imports, that which will protect the interest of home producers of the similar goods. And there are other objectives. Okay. And methods of exchange control. One method is direct exchange control. In direct exchange control, certain measures are adopted which effectuate or make effect immediate direct restriction on foreign exchange from all sides. Okay. One is intervention. Directly government intervene in the exchange control, or that means foreign exchange resources have been controlled directly by the government. Exchange restriction. There will be exchange of foreign exchange from one country, outflow of foreign exchange from one country to another country, and by other means it is being blocked. Okay. And these are the things covered in lesson 8 of unit 2. Okay. There will be questions regarding what do you mean by exchange rate, what do you mean by what are the objectives of exchange rate, etc. What are the different types of exchange rate, control mechanisms, etc. can be available, okay, from this lesson 8. Okay, we will come back with unit 3, lesson 9 to 12 in the another session. Thank you very much.